Moss shows you how the third-person VR genre should be done. So how did they get me so emotionally connected to this game? Well, let's find out. At its heart, Moss is a third-person platformer in virtual reality. Its story and narrative is the engine that drives you forward. The star of the show is Quill, a brave young mouse that is chosen to fight an ancient evil. You, the player, are cleverly woven into the story as an overseer known as the Reader, who has chosen Quill as your hero. The two of you embark on this epic adventure through this beautiful world of Moss. The story actually begins with you, a reader in a great library with a storybook sitting right in front of you. You read about an ancient evil serpent that destroyed a kingdom in search of a mysterious glass relic, and of Sir Argus leading his people to safety. After reading this setup, you're whisked away to a magical forest world of Moss. Quill pops her curious head out of the bush and stumbles upon this glass relic. And this is when you, the reader, first appear to her. Quill shows the relic to her Uncle Argus. He freaks out and takes off, making Quill promise to not leave the house. But she senses that he's in danger and has to help him. And just then, a fairy starling appears and says that he'll help her find her uncle. And this is where your adventure begins. The voice actress that narrates the story to you does a great job of making it feel like an epic, sprawling fantasy fairy tale.
And the journey you take together could change the fate of both our worlds. Shall we begin?
I feel like the villain isn't set up too well. A huge, fire-breathing snake named Snarfog, and they downplay him? But the real motivation for the plot is to find your uncle. I feel like this was a great choice to be driven with love and family rather than destruction and evil. This storyline is a very good beginning to what I hope is a multi-sequel VR franchise. But it does feel a bit short, kind of like we just got a chapter 1 and we're waiting for a chapter 2. Moss is a blend of third-person platforming and first-person puzzling. You control Quill in third person using the thumbsticks on the touch controller. And as the reader, you manipulate objects in first person. It's a seamless blend between the two, and it really showcases the strengths of VR. The combat also benefits from this third first-person gameplay. Quill has her standard sword attacks, jumps, and dodges, and the reader can reach out and grab enemies to control them. At first, this could feel a bit overpowered when single enemies are coming out at you, but it gets difficult when you're fighting waves of multiple enemies at once. The overall pace of the gameplay is really fluid, and it mixes story, platforming, and combat really well. It never feels stagnant, and you move through completely different environments, making it feel like you were on this epic journey. Quill's movements and attacks never change though, and at one point, you get a brand new sword only to find your attacks are exactly the same. Some sort of skill progression would have greatly improved this game. I was actually surprised at how much I embodied my character. The way that Quill looks up at you and acknowledges your presence. The way that you're written into the story in this fourth wall type of way. The way you reach out to interact with objects. Or when Quill's injured, the way you reach out to heal her. And she looks up and genuinely thanks you for that. You feel like a living, breathing character in this world. The simple fact that Quill knows you're there. She'll even try to grab your attention just to give you a hint when you're stuck on a puzzle. You unknowingly start to bond. You and Quill connect through the story and through interactions. The game's greatest achievement is tying you in emotionally. You embody the reader and with your bond with Quill. So why a third-person platformer in VR when normal screens have better resolution? Well, when you play music from a speaker, it sounds like it comes from a single point. But when you put on headphones, it sounds like it surrounds you. A monitor is just a screen in front of you. VR strips the borders away and you start to see depth and scale, and the world surrounds you. It starts to become an experience, a memory, and you become present in this world of Moss. It doesn't matter if it's a first or third person game, the goal is to transport you to another reality. The game does feel short though. I finished the story in around 2 hours. I would have loved more game, more story, but that's just the reality of VR games at the moment. And that's something I'll have to discuss in a different video. But I am definitely looking forward to Moss the sequel. In the meantime though, there is some replayability built into the game. They have 2 different things for you to collect, some magic sand and some hidden scrolls. And these 2 collectibles do feel like it warrants another play or 2. This is a seated or standing game, but there's a lot of leaning and reaching out, so make sure you have a good play space around you. Difficulty wise, it was a rewarding challenge to complete, and it never feels too difficult where it gets frustrating. The puzzle difficulty progressed nicely, adding new layers of mechanics to keep me on my toes. The progression of the story came to a satisfying rise as well, and it leaves a natural cliffhanger to continue the story. So, should you go out and buy this game? Hell yes. Don't let the length deter you from picking this game up. It's a short game, yes, but Moss will leave a lasting impression on you. Thank you, lifers, for checking out my review of Moss. Did you guys like this game? Was it too short? Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And as always, if you want to keep the pulse of the VR Lifer channel going, go ahead and become a lifer and hit that subscribe, hit that like, and until then, I'll see you lifers next time.